Hello and welcome to another weekly vlog. Oh my god, my hair. I need to plait it or something for bed. So it is Monday evening, and so we don't constantly get car noise. Let me sort of fill you in on the week so far. Oh, my hair has got so thin. So this week is Isaac's exam week. Today I find out he has a mock English exam on Thursday that we didn't know about. And all this stuff, we got a letter from school sent to everyone with the official GCSE timetable. He's got his actual official, a section of his English GCSE next month. So it's the mock this Thursday. And that letter that came through said, on induction day, day 1, in September, they were given this pile of stuff, including QR codes and just loads of stuff. And I'm like, I've never seen that. And it said it was sent by email, so I looked through all my emails. It's not there. I went back. Now, he didn't even know he had emails, but he does have a sign in. It's his name, a number, and then at c2ken.net, which is basically an education system email. So anyway, I went into that and there were 2,000 odd emails in it because he never knew it existed and it was just there. And anytime any of the teachers posts on Google Classroom or Teams, it comes up in here. So anyway, I went through them all. No email. I've had to send an email to the receptionist to see what's going on about that. So we've got today he had his Spanish speaking test. I went over that with him at the weekend. He got full marks. He's the only person in the class that got full marks, so I'm dead pleased about that. On tomorrow he has his history exam. We went over all that tonight about Hitler and how Hitler came to power, how he maintained power and control. It's so much like Trump you would not believe. Wednesday is the Spanish writing, which we will be studying tomorrow evening, but he's also got an extra jiu-jitsu class tomorrow evening because the big sensei is down to do training with the brown belts for them to go to their junior black next month. So he has to go. So that's Tuesday night. Wednesday he has a Spanish speaking. Thursday he has his English mock. So Wednesday night will be spent going over techniques. It's not like English when we were at school where you wrote an essay about something and you did comprehension. Now they have to use specific techniques. They're called petal techniques. Point, evidence, something. But there's specific ways they have to talk about the use of language and what literary technique the authors used and why, and what bit from the text illustrates that has been used and what is the effect of using that literary technique, blah, blah, blah. So there's a very specific format. And then Friday, we thought maths, this is the biggie, which we haven't been able to revise for all week because of all the others. And I'm like, we only got one night, what the hell? Well, I thought we had 2 until I found out today he's got English mock on Thursday. And he came home today and said they've just told us today in RE that we've got RE on Friday as well. And I'm thinking, fuck this. I'm going to take a nervous breakdown at this point. Friday night he's going to that Scout Jail of Terror thing, and then he's staying over at Stephen's on Saturday. But my head's fried. I have been sat trying to make notes every day. I say every day this week, it's only Monday, but also last week. I can't do much for maths because he's got the book with him every day. I managed to do 3 sides of a 4-page this evening. What was I doing this afternoon? Oh, I was going through everything that he'd ever had put on Teams or Google Classroom by the teacher about literary techniques and printing it all out for English. And then I did 3 sides of different examples of things for maths, but that's only a quarter of the booklet, and I've still got the rest of the booklet to summarise the main. Oh god, it's like I'm at school. I won't have to do it to this extent going forwards because we've got a revision plan in place now. He has an hour and a half, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Nothing Friday, nothing Saturday, and 2 different periods of study on a Sunday. Which may seem a lot, but with the amount of stuff they have to take in, it's going to be needed to prevent what's happening this week happening. It's an absolute fucking nightmare, so my head's fried. I was meant to be going out today to meet a friend for lunch, and when I woke up this morning, I couldn't move. The pain in my joints. Now, I don't know if it's stress, or if it's the weather, or if it's stuff catching up with me. I'm not entirely sure, but I couldn't fucking move. I was in agony. Then I got up in my pyjamas. I thought, I'm too sore to dress, to bend over, to pull on trousers and stuff. And I got downstairs and Darren says, oh, the window cleaner's coming, and he had to go out, and I fuck. And the shopping's coming, so I had to go back upstairs and get dressed again. And then I got stuck into work, which I was at until 8:45, 8:30, 8:45. That was all day. Tomorrow I have to go to my dad's, as usual. So I'll be there all afternoon. Tomorrow evening will be study with Isaac. Isaac finds it easier to learn when we go through a thing and talk about it and discuss it, and I can explain to him things. If you give him just notes or booklets to read, he really struggles. He learns much better with a discussion around things, which I wish they would do in school more. But they basically just tend to like, blah, here's the information, learn it, and then leave the kid to it. I just don't, you might think I worry too much about exams and it doesn't matter, and the only reason I want him to do well is because I want him to have the chances I didn't have. I was alright at school, I didn't struggle particularly. I got enough exams to get into uni, but I think I've said before, my mum wouldn't let me go. And the stuff I wanted to do, I wanted to work in criminology, I wanted to work in like the behavioural science of criminology, but because I had to pick 2 universities in Northern Ireland, because I wasn't even allowed to move out of home to go to uni, I would have to commute every day. I didn't get the grades required to get into Northern Ireland, and at that point in my life I also met a complete abusive arsehole that I was with, and I didn't push through to resit exams or anything like that, because boys, you know what I mean, I was 18 and I got with someone that was basically a druggie and an alcoholic that was physically abusive, so it was not a good time in my life, shall we say. I don't want Isaac to not have the choices. I want him to be able, when all his friends are going off to uni, I don't want him being the one, well, I can't go because I didn't do well in my exam. Air freshener. But that's the only reason I'm like so worried about it. I just want him to have those chances. The thing is, to get into Scotland's in uni, or universities in Scotland and England, the grades that you need are much lower. And that's not me saying anything about those universities, it just is. Because there are so few universities here. Now there's more than there were when I was younger, but when I was 18 there were only 2. One of those is Queen's. To get into Queen's you're looking at the same level as Oxford or Cambridge. It's like top tier. You have to be a fucking brain scientist. Trinity in Dublin's the same, but again that was Dublin. I wasn't allowed to go to Dublin. And the other one wasn't quite as bad, but it was still very, very high. You're talking to get into like criminology, behavioural science, you were looking at like 2 A's and a B, or an A and 2 B's, I can't remember. But to get into the same course in Stirling in Scotland, where my friends all went, you needed like, was it a B and 2 C's, or, you know, it was all a lot lower. And I had the grades to get in there, but I didn't have the grades to get in here. I just don't want that happening to him. I want him to have opportunities. And if he doesn't, I want to feel like as a parent I've done the most that I can do to give him the chance. And Darren's just sent reactions. Don't know what that is. Darren's just sent me a video, reactions to something. So it'll be a funny video of dogs, I'll guarantee it. So that's what's happening anyway this week. It's all, I mean, if I read another word about Hitler, it won't be too soon, honestly. What do we all reckon to Trump, the mighty peacekeeper with the situation in Gaza and Israel? I mean, fucking hell. I mean, let's see if it works out before we start wearing red hats that say Trump, man of peace, you know what I mean? I haven't a good word to say about Trump, I'm afraid, so we're not going to get political. Yeah, I'll check in with you guys tomorrow, probably on my way into my dad's. Speak to you later. When your son is the last person in the car listening to music. Oh, it's Linkin Park, it's not too bad. Didn't recognise it, first of all. How do I? That's Linkin Park with the new female singer. Car's plugged in at the minute because we should have plugged it in last night, because we've got 2 runs into town to do today. Firstly to my dad's, and then Isaac has jiu-jitsu tonight, so we have to go in again. I'm just really fucking fed up. Here comes a moan again. Mona Lisa is on the moan. Printing out loads of stuff and notes out, and school said that the pupils were given all this information about examinations, like instructions, important stuff that they must understand and read, on induction day via email. Well, I think I told you last night, I looked absolutely everywhere, and we've never had it via email. That's absolute bollocks. So I emailed them and asked for them to send it, which they did. There's about 10 QR codes, so one's like for instructions for written examinations, one's for coursework, one's for assessments, all different. About 2 are working out of the 10. So I've managed from those 2 that are working to go and I'll drive and talk. I've managed from the 2 that are working to go to the correct website. That's still fucking and like search for the others, and I've found them, and I'm in the process of printing them. So as I'm in the process of printing them, the printer decides in its wisdom, I'm gonna mess up here, not gonna work, and it won't print. I've cancelled the print, you name it, I have done it. I've cancelled the print job on the computer, I've cancelled it on the printer, I've tried to print it again, I've switched the printer off, unplugged it, switched the computer off, restarted it. Will it clear this one job that it messed up in the middle of? No, it won't. So it's just stuck in this thing. And then I managed to follow instructions. It says, right, you're gonna, what the hell, is that a person or a fucking...
No, it's a dummy,
right.
Werewolf.
A werewolf dummy, that's quite funny actually. So it says you're going to have to remove your printer drivers and re-put them in. It's like, oh, for fuck's sake. So I removed printer drivers, and now I'm trying to reinstall the printer drivers, and it won't do it. I'm like, why won't it do it? I know so then I had to leave, so I hadn't time to sort of poke with it any longer. But I think I'm going to have to remove all software for the printer from the computer, find the box the printer came in with the manual. I think what it is I have to have the printer plugged in via lead to the computer to install the drivers. That's what I think it is.
Yeah, you probably will. Yeah.
But obviously the lead will be in the box because I'll have left it in the box. I'm sure it'll be in the garage. I know it won't have been thrown out because my brain will have went, right, I might need that, so I won't have thrown it out.
Well, you like me as well. Oh, it's under a year old. Get the money back. If it's broke.
At the minute, I desperately need the printer for Scouts and for school. So, you know, it's not good news for me at deciding it doesn't want to work, because I've so much to get done this week, and I don't have time to be wasting it trying to sort a printer that could take me an hour at least to sort. That's an hour I need to be doing maths notes tonight. So yeah, I'm a bit perturbed. Quelle surprise, Lisa's moaning again. So, and then I realised something I'd done. So, I had different plans this week. If you're on my Facebook, you'll probably have seen this. I was meant to meet Becky for lunch yesterday, and when I told you this last night, when I woke up I couldn't move. And I thought, I can't, I'm too sore, I can't. And then I thought, I can't trail myself into town tonight, sit doing revision all night, trail myself into town tomorrow, sit doing revision all night, trail myself out on Wednesday with Sophie and Kira. And I thought, I can't, I'm like, what's the word, flagging here. So I cancelled yesterday, and I cancelled tomorrow. I'm not going out today. I don't want to cancel going into my dad because it's the only day during the actual, I go in on a Tuesday and a Sunday, and if I'm in doing something I'll maybe pop in other days, but Tuesday and Sunday are the definitive days I go in. So, you know, I don't want to cancel today. So I put on Facebook, literally because I want people to leave me the fuck alone. I'm having a really bad vibro flare, which I am. Plans for the week cancelled. If you need me, I'll probably be under a pile of paperwork. And then a few texts came this morning from Scouts. One was, is this date good for Christmas dinner in December for everyone? And depression were on Tuesday morning. The next text that came is, are people available this week to have a meeting about the Scouts summer trip next year? And I'm thinking, right, I've already cancelled stuff because I'm bollocksed. I'm busy every night this week preparing for his exams. So anyway, I said, he had a poll, and I said there was all different options of all different days, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So there was no option for no, so I wrote at the bottom, apologies, but I'm booked out all this week. Now, I am busy all this week, but they wouldn't take helping your child with revision to be something that you should be doing anyway. And all the, Francis's daughter's the same age as Isaac, she goes to a different school, but so anyway, I've said I'm busy all week, and then it occurred to me, oh shit, I put on Facebook that I've cancelled all my plans this week, and Francis is on my Facebook list. So I'm saying on one, I've cancelled everything. Well, I have cancelled anything.
For a reason, and you're busy all week for a reason. You're resting. It's the same thing. Stuff like
well, I said I'm booked out all week, which wasn't true.
Yeah, but you don't have to explain yourself to these people.
Yeah, but what it is it looks really weird. On one hand, I've said I've cancelled my plans for the week.
If they want to read negativity. Right?
And well, everyone always reads negativity.
Well, and stuff like that.
It's like, give me a bit of notice. Don't ask me on Tuesday if I'm free Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday or Friday. And I go to every meeting that's called about anything. I'm not going on no notice, because the reason I've cancelled, it's like, I cancelled going out to lunch with a friend. That is a pleasant thing to do. So I cancelled that. I cancelled going out with Kira and Sophie. I don't like letting the wee girl down, but I cancelled anything that I could cancel. I can't cancel Isaac's exams, and I'm not cancelling going in to see my dad. So I cancelled everything else, and I thought, right, if I don't need to do it this week, I'm not doing it. And then that came up, and it's like, them meetings are like 2 hours long. We've only got about a couple of hours on an evening to revise, and we don't have enough time as it is to get him ready for these exams. He's got history today, which I think he'll do quite well in, to be honest with you. Isaac's main issue, now history is like English, as you know yourself from being at school. You have to be good at the waffle. I'm good at the waffle. Isaac's not so good at the waffle. He's a typical teenager. The least amount of words uttered, the better. And I'm like, Isaac, you can't do that in an exam. In his tests, it constantly comes back. Needs more information. You need to expand further, more detail. Isaac doesn't give. And I, like last night, was trying to tell him, right, instead of saying this, say this and add this. I said, if you have information in your mind, like, I think they're going to be asked as part of an essay question either to explain how Hitler came into power, or to explain how he used censorship and propaganda to control people. I think it's going to be one of those two things. That's my guess. And I'm like, even if you're not asked something, so if you're explaining how Hitler got into power, he knows that the Great Depression in Germany was 1929. Hitler got accepted into government, this is ridiculous, I even know this, on the 30th of January 1933. Now his birthday's the 30th of January, that's what makes it easy to remember. There was a big fire, the Reichstag fire happened on the 27th of February. Isaac's birthday's on the 28th of February, so that's pretty easy to remember. So I'm like, these dates, Isaac, find a way of putting them in, you're illustrating your knowledge. I said, so if you're asked, how did Hitler get into power? 1929 Great Depression. Right, people were tired of the weak leader, his name's Weimar, that was in power before Hitler. The country went from one crisis to another. And with the Great Depression of 1929, information stuck in, people wanted a strong leader. They felt that Weimar was weak, and that was the first window for Hitler to get in. I said, you have to think, what do I know? How can I make it applicable? How can I stick it in? I says, you get that piece of information, Weimar, Great Depression, in it goes. So that's the sort of thing, is trying to teach him to use what he knows in the question, even if specifically the question doesn't specifically ask that, it's still relevant, so put it in. And they'll think, oh, this boy knows what he's talking about. So we'll see. I think he'll do decent. I don't think he'll do terribly. He got full marks in the Spanish speaking, which is fantastic. And she told him that the preparation, what he'd written, was far above what was expected, and it would do for a GCSE Spanish written or speaking. He got full 30 out of 30. He was the only person that had. Did you say Amber got 30 out of 30?
Yeah.
Him and Amber was at his primary school. Amber's like the golden girl.
Super student.
She's good at everything. She went to Queen's University to represent St. Louis in maths. She's just exceptionally bright. So he got the same score as her. They were the only two in the class, so proper pleased, proud about that. So the main issue this week's going to be the maths, I think. I'm not arsed what he does for RE, to be honest. I'm not going to tell him that. Well, I've told him, if you can get a pass in your GCSE RE just to have a pass, fine. I says, nobody's expecting. To me, it's not important. And he's got an English mock on Thursday. So am I going to go and sit for 2 hours? I promised you I wouldn't moan, and I'm moaning. Can't help it. But it's relevant because Suze and Kelly, one day this will be you, and you'll think, fuck, I remember Lisa moaning, now I know what the fuck she was moaning at. But then again, maybe your schools won't have so many bloody exams. But when your kids get to the point where they're doing preparing for GCSEs and you see the sheer volume of information, don't be like us. Try and make sure your kid's doing a little bit every night to keep it in there before it gets to the exam point, because that's where we've fallen down. The timetables.
We did tell Isaac to do that. We just didn't want to force him to do it, but he wouldn't take it on himself to do it.
And also, you've both got girls. Apologise for the blatant sexism here, but this has even been said by parents that I know that have both boys and girls. Girls are much easier when it comes to taking responsibility for their own learning. Now, there will be exceptions to that rule, obviously, but I know multiple people that have got sons and daughters, and they've all said, no, with the girls, left them to it. They've done their own revision. They've done what they should have been doing. They prepared themselves. With the boys, if they could get away with not doing it, they would ignore it and not do it, and then just go into the test and do crap, basically. The boys had to have their arm twisted up their back to make them revise. They need it constant, what are you doing? Have you done this? Just constant helicopter parenting for the boys, but the girls weren't that way at all, and that's the same parent, so they can't, it's the parenting. It's just the difference between boys and girls at that age. Boys don't want to be arsed. Boys want to be on Fortnite playing with their mates, chatting. They don't want to do work. Right, I'll get off the phone. Well, it is the phone. I'll just speak to you later. Hello. It is Friday evening. There's a really annoying French accent on there. Isaac has got, it's not racist, I don't like the French accent, it's nothing to do with the French that I've met have all been not very polite. I went to France with school when I was 14 and everybody was pig ignorant. I went to Germany with school when I was 15 and everybody was lovely. Isaac tonight is going to Crumlin Road Jail, which is a former Victorian prison that is reputedly haunted, and they do paranormal tours all the time, and I've always wanted to go on one. But for Halloween they are doing it's like a scare attraction. I think they've got actors and stuff. I don't know exactly what it is, but is there one of them doors not shut properly? Is your door shut properly?
Look at the sign.
Well, what's that? Oh, I don't know.
The symbol shows all the doors closed.
So just waiting on Darren. We're just dropping him in. Because it's a district event, it means explorers from, he's going with explorers from other scout units will be there, so we have to they have to be there when the bus pulls up, because they're going to they're picking up lots of different kids. And he's, just ignore that, and he's second on the pickup list, or their unit is second on the pickup list. So that's a good idea. Oh.
Don't forget your steering wheel.
Yeah, no, it's not quite that cold enough that we need a steering wheel up. I'm going to Home Bargains, which is why I'm in the car. Otherwise, I would have just sent Darren to take him in on his own. I want to see Blackphone 2, which comes out today, but
It looks really good.
unfortunately, if we go to see that, we're not going to be out in time to collect Isaac, so we can't go see it tonight. So Isaac is at Stephen's tomorrow, so we're going to go see it tomorrow. But we also want to see I Swear, which is a new film. It's a true story about a lad with Tourette's, and everyone that I know that has seen it says it's the best thing they've seen all year, or it's right up there. So I'm hoping tomorrow, if the times align, to get to see both of those.
Tree full of crows there.
We shall see. Oh yeah, I will be doing reviews for both of them, so I'll link them at the end if I do get to see them. But you see, you'll see a review for something, unless something hideous happens between now and then. I'm not allowing myself to think about that. So I'll let you know obviously tomorrow how the Explorer thing was tonight. I'm sure he'll have fun. Isaac, 5 of the Explorers did the Young Leader course. The 2 Emmas, Isabella, Amelia and Luke all did it. So there's a chance that Luke may be going to the residential thing in November. I'm going to ask Marcus, because he told me originally when I said, I think Isaac doesn't really want to do it unless another one of the lads is doing it. He was hoping maybe Luke was going to do it. He says, I don't think Luke's interested. And then he popped up in a photograph that he's just done it. So anyway, Isaac's finished his exams for now. Today he had maths and RE, and I think he thought the maths was so-so, which means it was probably quite hard. RE was all right, so he'll start to get his results. I would imagine for most of them they'll get their results after Halloween. They're in next week, Monday to Thursday. They're off Friday, and then they're off the whole next week for Halloween.
And then we've got parent-teacher meeting.
I don't know if I've got that wrong or not, or I don't know if that's just a year 12. Anyway, I'll check it, but I've written it down, so it probably is right that we'll have a parent-teacher meeting at some point. I am not going anywhere near Mr. Morgan, because I will let myself down a bag full, because I'll say something.
Even if he's got
I've nothing
an
to say to him,
excuse
man.
for what he did in the corridor,
No.
what he doesn't have is
An apology.
my disappointment that a grown man couldn't apologise to a boy.
So we know at this point, basically, that the headmistress will have spoken to Mr. Morgan. He can't have any excuse for berating him about not being in his class and then finding out he was at a funeral and he had.
Need to ask other.
But really, after having been pulled up on it and after having been told how upset the family were about it, any fully grown man with any sense of decency would have taken Isaac aside and said, look, I apologise, I shouldn't have, you blah blah. But we knew he wasn't going to, because the guy's an arse. So anyway, if there is a parent-teacher meeting, I shan't be going anywhere near him, because I have no interest in what the man has to say. No interest whatsoever. I don't care. That's the long and short of it. It's the reason I didn't go anywhere near Actually, I might go near this RE teacher purely because Isaac really likes him. I didn't go. I'm not bothered how Isaac does in RE. It'll be good if he passes it, just to be able to say he's got all his GCSEs. But it's not an important subject in my opinion. So, our Spanish, I know his teacher will only have glowing things to say about him because he does really well. Maths, definitely, I want to speak to the teacher for maths.
Mr. Greg.
English may be good, because we could do with a bit more. Your last English teacher, Isaac, said what you needed to do was read more.
That's great. I don't like her.
Well, I agree with her.
Yep.
You need to improve your vocabulary, your grammar, and your structure of how you write. Anyway, so if that comes up, hell or high water's not going to get me near Mr. Morgan. I don't know if Darren is going to want to go and speak to him, but I'm not.
Look forward to it.
I just nothing to say to the man whatsoever, because I know that he will find something to moan about with Isaac, because as Darren said to the headmistress, Isaac is far from perfect. I know that Isaac goes into a lot of classes. He doodles all round the sides of his books, and he talks if he's sat beside Stephen, and he sits beside Stephen for history. So I don't for a second think that Mr. Morgan won't bring up the fact that Isaac's very easily distracted and he doesn't seem to pay attention, because from trying to teach him things myself, I know that that's true. So if he starts, Isaac, this, that and the other, my brain's going to want to say, well, if you fucking taught the class instead of sitting in your arse and telling them to take notes.
Like I said to the head, then he needed discipline in other school rules. I said, but what Mr. Morgan did was disgusting. There's a big difference.
So if he starts criticising, I will accept criticism from a teacher that's doing their job, from a teacher that is teaching my child. If I feel that what they're saying is true, I will accept it all day long. But even though I would know it would be true if he said it, I'm not accepting from him that my son's getting distracted, because I would get distracted in a class if the teacher wasn't teaching me. If they were just reading out of a handout and then sitting in their arse and saying take notes on that, that's not teaching. That's not what I could go in and do that. I'm not a teacher. Anyway, so I'm not whinging the whole way in. Mona Lisa, Mona Lisa. I'm gonna have to do a little jingle, I'm gonna put it in. Yeah, I'll let you know how Isaac's jail of terror was tomorrow. And actually he can maybe let you know how it is on the way into Stephen's house.
Or on the way back home.
Well, it'll be dark, so the camera won't be able to see you.
Yeah.
And look out for reviews for those films if we manage to go see them. I shan't take you into Home Bargains with me tonight, because I'm sure you don't need to see. I am going to look at Halloween sweeties and things, that's it. But yeah, I shall catch up with you later.
Get some cinema sounds.
Good afternoon. It is. Oh, I've just realised this is going to need plugging in again soon.
You should probably pause that, or else it's going to be like over you.
Yeah. So it is Saturday early afternoon. We're just leaving Isaac into Stephen's. He's staying over tonight. I'll be picking you up at 2 tomorrow.
Okay.
Me and Darren are going to be spending the entire day in the cinema, because there's actually 4 films that I wouldn't mind seeing, but we're going to see 3. First of all, we are going to see it's a new film with Channing Tatum and Peter Dinklage called Roofman. It's a true story about a criminal in America that used to break into McDonald's through the roof. Then we're going to see Blackphone 2. I watched the first one in preparation last night to remind myself again. I actually enjoyed it more this time than I did when I saw it in the cinema, to be honest. And then we're going to see I Swear, which is a true story about a lad with Tourette's. The reason I was going to wait for streaming for that, but so many people have said this film is fantastic that I'm like, right, okay, I want to see it before it leaves. There's only one showing of it left, like once a day, like at 8:30 in the evening. So yeah, so if you contact us, Isaac, and we don't get back to you right away, it's probably because we're in the cinema.
Right.
So Isaac went to this thing last night. How was it?
Pretty crap.
You don't like it?
No, it was fun. It was in the scary people weren't scary.
Alright.
There was people with professionally done makeup. They were pretty creepy. But then around the corner you'd have someone with a really naff mask.
Yeah, I saw the guy, the Texas Chainsaw guy. That was ridiculous.
But why would you have professional makeup and naff masks? You have to either go fully naff or fully professional.
Yeah. Tell them the story about John.
Oh yeah.
You have to make sure you speak up when I start driving.
In the hallway, there's this clown that runs at you down the hallway, and John went to the front.
John is one
around,
of the explorers.
and he farted really loudly, and it echoed down the hallway. And he shouted, "If you run at us, you have to run through my fart." And the clown still had to run at him because it was his job.
Big job.
He farted at him. So that's quite funny. Thankfully, you would not believe the photographs that we got sent. I'm on about it again. Mona Lisa, about the photographs that was taken. You couldn't see anyone in them. One of them, someone had their arm like this, and it was taken from here, so they were covering their face. whoever it was wasn't even in their scout troop because it was a district event, so there were scouts from lots of different troops. Another one was the back of someone's head that also wasn't from their scout troop. Like loads of smoke and stuff, and yeah, it's going to be awkward to take pictures. There was one photograph that I really liked where loads of them were stood in a distance with quite a lot of smoke, and one of the girls, Emma, was like clutching another girl's arm and she looked really scared, and it's a really good photograph. She makes it, she looks awesome in it, but Isaac's like so far in the back you can't even tell there's a person stood there. Yeah. Thankfully, the people that ran the event, the district, took photographs of the entire group of them, which Isaac failed to tell me. Took photographs of all of them outside before they went in. So there's a bit was that after. So there's a big group shot of all of them, and there's individual shots of each troop. Which Isaac, when I'm whinging about photographs, never said, well, they took a big group shot. Never told me. Slimish District Scouts put it up on Facebook last night, and I'm like, oh, there's actually a photograph. I'll put the photos in. Their troop had like, I think 20 odd, basically all of them bar one went, and other scout troops had maybe 5 or 6, but theirs was like
6 or 7.
Well, yeah, whatever. But they had a massive turnout on there. I think there were 60 something kids all together, the thing said. So yeah, maybe it wasn't the scariest thing in the world, but it's something different, and they got to go to a place I've always wanted to go to. So maybe next Halloween or at some stage we'll get to go on one of the paranormal tours. A lot of them, like, kids are banned, but I'm sure they'll allow people Isaac's age. We'll see. But I've always wanted to go on one. But then Isaac will do something stupid like fart when they're going really quiet and trying to talk to ghosts, so I don't know if that's a good idea or not. Yeah, he would do that. He'd know better if he did that on me and kick his arse.
After fires.
So, nothing really else to tell you. What did I say to you yesterday? I said I would check in to let you know how Isaac's thing was, so the masks were naff, but he had fun anyway. And I shall, obviously, will be doing reviews of the movies that we go to see, so they will be on my main channel when I can get round to editing them. We're going to get something to eat first so that we're belly set up for the day, and it's the first, we don't have to be there to 20 past 3, so we'll be dropping Isaac off. We've got a couple of hours, and my ring, the ring that I brought in to have resized, my mum's ring, should be ready today, so I'm going to go and see. Thankfully the place that did it is right beside a cafe where we can get something to eat, but we might have to wait because it's proper busy, even during the week. But it's cheap, so, you know, if you think about places to go to eat, I don't want to go to McDonald's or something like that. Darren, like, can't eat burgers and stuff because of the bread, and he's not a massive fan, so it sort of rules out things like Burger King and Subway. I don't want to go to a pub because all the pubs are proper posh restaurants, very expensive, and they expect a tip. Yeah, the whole American tip culture does my head in. I get that people aren't paid a living wage, but that is not the fault of the pay. A tip should be something that you give for exceptional service. It shouldn't be something that you must give. You must give regardless of the service, and I get that servers in America need them to live on, but why are the people owning these establishments just getting richer and richer? And then you get people like, say, us, that save for 4 years to get enough money to go to America, every penny, do nothing, don't go on a holiday in the summer. And people that live in America that save and save and save to go out for a special night, like a birthday or something, and they can't really afford the meal that they're going out for, but then they have to find like 20% because you get these people being shamed on Facebook because they didn't tip enough. The latest one I saw was the bill was £74 something, and the person tipped 80, or the person gave 80 quid, so the tip was like 6 quid or something like that. And they were basically saying this person shouldn't be allowed to eat. What if that person really? I remember having this argument with someone. Well, if that person really, really struggled to get that 75 quid to pay for that meal for that special thing, his argument was, well, they shouldn't be out in a restaurant then in the first place.
Yeah, well, everyone stop going, then they'll all go out of business and lose their job.
But people should be forced, employers should be forced to pay a living wage. That's my viewpoint. Apparently on the West Coast they are, like in California and places like that, they do have to. But a lot of servers in America get paid like $2 something an hour, which is just scandalous. And then the patrons have to pick up the slack by paying more in tips than their servers getting paid by the employer. That's why I don't want to go. Like, when the only time me and Darren go out, and when I say a nice meal, I don't mean a fancy restaurant, I mean a nice pub. Like, we'd go to the Grouse on our anniversary or something, because our friends Kelly and Dave always send us some money for our anniversary, so we'd go out.
Where else had gone?
Yeah, so that's where I ate that chicken and was sick after.
Yeah.
But you have to tip there, or well, you don't have to, but it's really bad manners if you don't. And when you're trying to sort of like not spend too much money, so I tend to like to go to cafes, and I really miss. There was a pub in Saltaire where we used to live called the Noble Combe, and it had really cheap food, and it was all really nice food as well. So they had this, I don't know if they had chicken pasta Alfredo or if that was the Witherspoons,
I think occasionally I did,
and it was my favourite, and they would do a really nice korma as well. All of the food was really nice.
Sometimes they had a 3 for 2, so we could order 3 meals and then have an extra one.
So yeah, I miss that. We only had one Witherspoons pub in our town, and it shut down, and it was taken over by someone called Granny Annie's, and it was abysmal. When it was a Witherspoons, the curry night was really good because, again, dead cheap. That's about the cut of my jib, a nice sort of like cheap pub meal. But we no longer have any cheap pubs. They're all like gastro posh, you know, you're going to pay 20 quid for one person to eat. And when I say that, I mean that's your main course, that's not no starter, which I never buy anyway, and no dessert.
What about the real China in Bradford?
Oh, that was an all you can eat Chinese buffet. It was right beside the cinema, so we used to go to the cinema and fill our butts. And I used to get really irate if people were getting round to the chocolate cake and eating all of it before I could get finished with dinner.
Let's bring a fresh one out. It's a fresh chocolate cake, they're going to get it first. That was cheap.
And, you know, nice and cheap. But there's literally, apart from a few little cafes in town, and obviously fast food places, there are no cheap places to eat. But this place is relative, you know, it's not bargain basement cheap, but it's not really expensive. So anyway, I shall go now. I'll let you know how the films were. I'll let you know really quickly how the films were on this vlog. If you want any more information, I will have reviews on my other channel. So yep, I shall speak to you later. Here we go. We'll spend the day in the cinema like 2 other hours.
Change.
We've got the screen to ourselves to watch Blackphone 2.
Creating Earth Smart. Changing dry land into green. Cooling down our planet.
Darren got himself some
at a scale that matters.
Charlie chicks.
Let's change climate change
Because they were
together.
25.
Donate now at justigit.org.
Surprised they're showing this one in this screen and not Blackphone. I would have thought Blackphone would be more popular. 1 down, 2 to go. We didn't quite get the last screen to ourselves. 2 girls came in when the adverts were on. I hate when they do that.
Selfishness.
Sat 2 rows in front of us. So, as you can see, we're in an empty screen again so far, but we're 20 minutes early for the movie. This next one is Roofman with Channing Tatum, Peter Dinklage, Kirsten Dunst, I think is in it.
Yeah.
And it's a true story, and it's a comedy. So we shall see how this one is. And then another couple of hours we'll be going to see I Swear. So I shall check. We've eaten some of our sweeties. Still got a few left.
Tried to pace myself. It's proven difficult.
We shall check in if the next screen's empty before the last one. Speak to you later. Right,
I just did an old man fart, didn't I?
I moved to get out of the way of something and farted by accident. We're coming up on 8:30. I need to take my tablet, remind me.
Take your tablet.
2 down, 1 to go. So we're in the screen now. On our own to see I Swear.
Big jobs.
We had 2 people. Big jobs?
Swearing.
We had 2 people in the first film. There was about 6 with us in the last one, so we'll see how many we get in this one. We shall check in with you after. Hello. I've come to the conclusion that the only time I record is in this bloody car. It is Sunday. I'm closing off the vlog for the week. It is raining. It has been raining all through the night and all morning. Proper heavy rain. Just going into my dad's, collecting Isaac on the way. He was at Stephen's last night. Haven't heard from him since he went. I did send him a text to say, remember we're collecting you just before 2. I haven't had a response. So let's hope he remembers. Change the radio. Not radio, music.
Different things.
Got yours in.
Yeah.
I still haven't done my review of the films yesterday. I might do it tomorrow if I get time. It was quite late last night when we got back and we just had like a coffee and a biscuit, watched the 1% Club and went to bed. So in short, all 3 films I enjoyed. I thought Blackphone too. We watched Blackphone again. I think I said this the night before, which was good because there was things in it I would have forgotten that tie into it. Not in any sort of way that you need, that they just add extra significance. I think I prefer the second one to the first one.
Oh, a lot better the second one.
The cinematography in the second one is really good. I like some techniques and stuff that they use, and the style, you know how it's stylized, I really liked.
It was paced well as well.
Someone said, and I would agree with this, I think it might have been Jamie, said it's like a cross between Stranger Things and Nightmare on Elm Street, and I totally get where he's coming from with both of those comments. The soundtrack especially was very Stranger Things. I'm not going to talk any more about it because I need to do a review. I've got Dead Man's Fingers starting, I can feel it. What was the next one? Was Roofman. I really enjoyed that. That's the true story about the guy that used to break into loads of McDonald's through the roof. He gets arrested, he manages to escape from prison, and it's the story of basically when he was on the run. It's all true. There's only one aspect of the film that has been changed, which I won't tell you because it would give away the story. But yeah, I enjoyed that. I thought it was very good. Then we watched I Swear, which was the one about, again, true story about a lad with Tourette's. Now, me and Darren didn't realise when we were watching this. We saw this documentary about 20 years ago about Tourette's. And it was about the guy that this film was about. We always remember this, you know, Tourette's text, people say the thing that you really wouldn't want to say comes out their mouth. It doesn't mean they think that, but it does. and they were at a Tourette's meeting, and there was a group of lads like in a circle, like a support group, and one of his tics was, "I've got gay porn in the house," which is just so random. We've always remembered it. Can you see my finger? This one has started to go whiter than the others. And as we're watching it, there's a bit where he gets a dog, and Darren's like, "I remember that dog." Plus, I think we watched a documentary about this guy, and we did. So it's the true story of his life. Very good, very much enjoyed it. I was intending to just watch it on streaming when it came, but so many people said, "Oh, this is really, really good." So we just went and watched 3 films back to back yesterday. What else would you be doing on a rainy Saturday? And they were all 3. I enjoyed all 3. So if I had to score all 3, I'd give Blackphone 2 a 3.5. I gave Roofman the same, and I would give I Swear a 4. That would be my ratings out of 5. But like I say, I want to do reviews about each of them, because there's different little things I want to talk about. But anything else you can think of that I need to...
Eat too many sweets, feel like shit.
Well, I don't think people need to know that we ate too many sweets. We did. We bought sweets from Home Bargains, and I made up sweet bags.
You did.
And we ate too many sweets yesterday, so we both came home feeling a bit... okay, I can get off my arse. We're going into a 40 mile an hour zone. But this week coming up, Isaac's only at school Monday to Thursday. I need to check. I've got written on our calendar that it's parent-teacher meetings, but something came home recently saying it was year 12. Isaac's year 11. So I must check. That's the thumb starting as well. Can you see the sort of discoloration of the thumb? Oh, I got my mum's ring resized. There it is. I don't really wear gold jewellery. It's like gold. I wear white gold, because if you've got a warm skin tone, you tend to suit gold. If you have a cool skin tone, you tend to suit silver or platinum or white gold. I have a cool skin tone. So there's like certain makeup colours, and like red lipsticks, if it's an orangey red, that suits warm. If it's a bluey red, that suits cool. I'm only learning all this stuff. The person that told me that I had a cool skin tone was the person that did my makeup for the wedding. And I obviously had my natural hair colour, but very dark hair at that point, a lot less grey. And my favourite hair colour has always been ginger or red. And Darren always wanted me to keep it dark. And she says, "Oh no, you don't want to colour your hair that colour." She said, "You've got a very cool skin tone, it will not suit red hair." So either I don't suit red hair, she's talking out her arse. I think when you get older, really dark hair looks really harsh. Can you see that real time or not? I don't know, like how the top of this finger is like corpse-like.
You know you think that.
I'm looking, I can see what I'm doing. I'm looking out at the front. This one's doing it as well. This finger. It's where the ends of your fingers go like a corpse. You've got no blood flow in it. It's not painful, but it's horrible. It just feels horrible. You know, when you imagine if you get a numb leg when you go to stand up and you can't get your legs under you, it's like that with your fingers. It's completely numb. So anyway, yeah, next week, I don't think we've got parent-teacher meetings on the Friday. I think it's year 12. I've written it on the calendar. It's not like me to write it if it's not right, so I need to investigate more. I'm hoping, you see, he's off school on Friday. I'm sure he's off school on Friday, and then he's off all next week for Halloween. Not the week coming up, the following one. So this week he's at school Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. We've moved his jiu-jitsu from a Thursday night to a Tuesday so we can go to the older class. I'm hoping next month he will be going for his junior black belt. Fingers crossed. So we shall see. And then the week after next, when he's off for Halloween, we are taking my dad, well, we're all going up to Game of Thrones, but we've been before. But my dad loves Game of Thrones and he's never been, so we're taking him up. It's the sort of thing we never could have done with my mum because it's, you know, you're going to be out of the house for quite a few hours. There's a single magpie in that field with them sheep, even in a bloody field. I wonder what weather Susie's getting in Greece. Susie's vlogs I watch is in Greece, right? I think it's Greece. Did she say Greece? They're having a child-free holiday. Got 2 young little girls, and her husband Dan, when asked what he wanted for his big birthday, he turned 40 recently. He said a child-free holiday. So his parents have got the 2 girls, and they're on their first child-free holiday since having.
What's the discussion about the caravan on that time the mic didn't work? You know, with the afterlife.
I don't remember. I don't think we need to go through that again, do we?
Oh, you need to clip it. I'll send you a little short.
No, I'm not putting that in.
Just a little bit.
No. Darren wants me to put a clip in for Susan Dan from Afterlife, the show with Ricky Gervais, where the sort of like creepy greasy guy in it with the beard and the black hair is discussing when he got amorous in a caravan and he's doing the actions.
We have to cut the scene because they couldn't stop laughing, so it never got shot.
So purely because Susan and Dan have recently bought a caravan, Darren wants me to put this clip of this caravan in. It's like, why? I don't remember because that sort of humour's cringy.
Yeah.
My fingers getting worse, I can feel it. That's called Raynaud's syndrome. It probably won't even pick up on camera. So yeah, next week there's nothing of any great excitement happening. We're going to Storm Zone on the Saturday night. It's Halloween night at the Diamond, and I don't think Stephen will dress up. Isaac's friend is coming with us. I don't think he will. I'm not. You see, you have to remember he's got that heart thing, so I don't want to force him to wear a mask or something in case he gets overheated. Well, he doesn't have any fancy dress stuff. He doesn't have to. You don't make the young lad feel comfortable if he didn't dress
He'll feel
up.
more uncomfortable if he turns up because he's not wearing anything.
Why? He won't. Just let him do what he wants. So we're going to that. Not because we're massive. Now, the guy that's singing, I've always thought has an excellent voice. He does have a really good voice. The style of music is very like old school Iron Maiden type thing, which I get a bit bored of, apologies, after a while. I've seen Maiden, I really enjoyed it. I think Chris Dickinson's voice is fantastic, but I think the material is very samey, and when you've listened to loads of it, and this is how this guy's voice is brilliant, but the material is just like it's like The Answer. The guy's voice is amazing, but the material's really forgettable. But we're going because it's a Halloween night out, and it may be quite. I've been hemming and hawing about not going, to be honest, because you'll have heard me talk about Raymond. He will definitely be there, and I can't be bothered with the uncomfortability because it's a really small place. It's more or less one room with a big bar in it, and the stage at one end, the bar at the other, and you know that when people are stood like whispering, oh, why you not speak, you know, and I just can't be fucking bothered with it. We've never really been in the same place since we stopped speaking years ago, and the idea of feeling really uncomfortable and not being able to leave because we're there with Isaac and his friend, and I'm not going to ruin their night by leaving if I'm feeling really uncomfortable. So it's knowing that I'm there and I'm stuck there until we leave. So it's like my brain's going back and forward with whether to go or not. But that's the only thing happening next week, and then it's Halloween week.
Fancy dress for the cinema.
Yeah, I know. I don't know. It's like I shouldn't like think about not going to something just because he's going to be there. It's you know, the environment. There's nowhere really to hide, is there? Because if you stand at the bar end, they have to come to the bar to get drinks, and they usually position themselves right up the other end. So
Well, last time I went to Kaiser before, they were sat straight across.
straight across, as in the other side of the place, or the same table.
Straight, well, the other side of the room.
All
As
right.
in, not long ways, width ways.
Oh well, then you just don't look across.
Yeah, I just
You
completely
look.
ignored them. No, I didn't avert my eyes or anything, I just completely ignored the fact it was there.
And it doesn't make it like particularly easy that the people he'll be with, we all know, and they would probably speak. So that's a bit uncomfortable. So we shall see. If it was just me and Darren, I'd probably go, and then it'd be like, if I feel really fucking uncomfortable, I'll leave. But I know if I go with the lads, we can't. But it's like, grow up early, so just ignore him. You have every right to be there. But this is like his local, I suppose, that he goes to most weekends, that he's not got the wee girl. But yeah, we shall see. The week after we'll have more to show you, because we'll be at the Game of Thrones thing. It's Halloween week. I'm supposed to be going out, or we're also going to Fright Club screening of, they're doing Fright Night. They're doing Ghostbusters 2 the day before as a matinee, but they've got the, what's the car called?
Eco.
No, it's not Ecto.
Eco.
They've got the car like for you to go and have your photograph in and stuff. So if we weren't doing anything on Thursday, it's an option. But yeah, we're going to Game of Thrones. Is it this one?
Yeah.
On the Tuesday. And then I think Halloween night falls on the Friday. And I'm going. The thing is, Sophie doesn't like sweets or chocolate. She doesn't eat any, and she's very, very, very shy. So I don't know if she will have any desire to want to go trick-or-treating, to be honest, because I'm certainly not going up and knocking people's doors and saying trick-or-treat at them because she doesn't want to.
You certainly won't be walking the streets if it's pissing it down.
Right, we're just
Even
pulling
if
into.
Sophie wants to, but no, it's pissing it down.
We're just pulling into Stephen's house right now to pick him up because it's pissing it down. Stephen's house with a lovely manicured lawn that you need a sit-on lawnmower to mow because it's so big. Right, I'm going to switch you off now. Thank you for watching. I shall see you next week. Over and out from Lisa's Lovely Life.